Hey, what is going on with y'all, man? It is Black Balloon, and I'm coming back with another video, so y'all already know what's going on. Alright, y'all. Now, as y'all can see on the screen, or by the title of this video, today we are here to talk about the mysterious disappearance of Gabriela Rico Jimenez. Now, a lot of you may be aware of this case. Recently, I've had just a small amount of people recommend for me to do this video, and the last time somebody asked me to, I finally went ahead and looked into it, and I thought it was pretty interesting to go ahead and bring to the channel. This case was pretty interesting to me. There's hard to really find anything about what truly happened to her. That's why it's widely known as a disappearance. Supposedly they wiped everything off the internet of who she actually was, which they say that she was a Mexican supermodel, and she went missing after she, had a mental breakdown. That's basically what they call it. She was walked away, supposedly put into a mental hospital, and never seen or heard from again. Now, this case was very interesting because honestly, there's not much on the internet about her, nor do I think anyone actually knows what happened to her. Now, it happened in a Mexican city called Monterrey, if I'm saying that correctly. It was also at an upscale hotel at the Fiesta Inn in the same city where she was captured on a news broadcast, basically having a mental breakdown, but shedding light and exposing a lot of the things that we've talked about on this channel. So just to give y'all a small background before we actually get into the video and the clip of her basically exposing what she had been through the last couple of years. Now, a lot of people think it had to do with MK Ultra, that she was an experiment, or she had been captured for a very long time and experimented on, and she, broke that programming, and at the moment that she had a chance, she tried to expose everything, and it just made her look and sound crazy. Now, you can't find anything on the internet about her being a supermodel. Everything was completely wiped away. There's a chance that nothing ever existed in the first place, because the only thing I do find odd is the fact that it was on the news. Now, I don't know, if there was something going on, why was a news broadcast, why was the news filming at the location she was at? So there's still some questions to me on why this even ended up being filmed in the first place. But without me talking too much, for those that haven't seen this clip, we'll go ahead and jump into the clip. Y'all can see for yourselves, and then we'll come back and talk about it a little bit more and go a little bit more into detail of what happened to Gabriela Jimenez. Check this out.
Escuchemos qué fue lo que decía esta joven al momento que estaba protagonizando ese escándalo en plena vía pública.
Adelante.
Quería mi libertad. Porque rebelión no mucho trabajo. Duró 1 año y 4 meses en la Ciudad de México. Todo esto empezó a mediados del 2001, porque así no recuerdo. No poderosas, sino por veces. Las mataron. También como iba tocando puerta por puerta. Yo lo que quería
Luis, esta es la triste realidad de la joven Gabriela Rico Jiménez, quien, como observamos en momentos, intentó también agredir al elemento policíaco que logró someterla esta madrugada. Por eso que, bueno, vamos a buscar la versión de las autoridades del por qué uno está...
Now, I found an article on a site called Mexico Unexplained that I thought was pretty interesting and summed up the case pretty well. So it reads, on the morning of August 4th, 2009, television viewers in the Mexican city of Monterrey were shocked and puzzled by a segment on the local news about an event from the previous night that took place outside an upscale Monterrey hotel called the Fiesta Inn. The news clip shows a very distraught young woman who was very tall and very thin and wearing a ripped shirt which read Yum Yum. The woman was ranting and walked around erratically. Some passerby took video footage that made it on the local morning news. One does not need to be familiar with the Spanish language to feel this young woman's confusion, desperation, and disappointment. Now, following is a transcript of what the young woman was saying from the longest of the few videos recordings available. The young woman begins, so this is for, there were captions on that video, but just in case you missed it, we'll go over what she was saying. Quote, I want my freedom. Monterrey freed me, but it cost me a lot of work. I was in Mexico City for a year and 4 months. All this began in mid-2001. I barely remember. They were young and powerful, and they killed them. I've been knocking on doors. What I wanted was my freedom. I want my freedom. Carlos Slim, who was once the richest man in the world for a couple of years, knew about this. I want my freedom. It hurts my soul that they took him away. Police then arrived and began to approach the distraught young woman. This is her continued. Leave me alone. They have already taken me to the police station, and there they told me that they knew nothing. They took me to the general hospital. The woman then pointed at an officer. She continued yelling, You were there. Go get the... You killed Moreno. They told me, who did they kill? The Queen of England? The Queen of Germany? Did they kill the princess and Mickey Mouse? So that was her basically like being mocked. Like the police officers were mocking her, saying, oh, we killed the Queen of England. We killed the Queen of Germany, blah, blah, blah. Then she goes on to say, it was also him. What? Nothing is going to come here. The people where you come from are crazy. They killed a lot of people. Death to that kind of human. Go away. They ate humans. Disgusting. They ate humans. I wasn't aware of anything. Of the murders, yes, but they ate humans. Humans. They smell like human flesh. A stout female police officer with pulled back mustard-colored hair then approached the raving young woman as y'all saw. You are not going to take me until this is clarified. You already took me there. Let me go. The woman was shoved into a police vehicle and they took her away. Newscasters identified the young woman as Gabriela Rico Jimenez. When this story hit the internet, there were a lot of descriptions of Gabriela. Amateur journalists and fringe researchers heard about the incident and wanted to investigate further. Starting off with getting background on this mysterious random woman. Gabriela was described as a Mexican supermodel in the same league as Christy Turlington, Linda Evangelista, or Naomi Campbell. Bloggers at the time claimed that Gabriela had a career that took her to the fashion runways of Mexico City, Paris, and New York, and that she had appeared on the cover of the Mexican version of Cosmopolitan magazine. An internet search in 2022 provides no evidence of Gabriela having any modeling career at all, and modern researchers cannot even come up with an agency or agent used for her supposedly many bookings. Some of the older blog posts and articles have references, but the links are either broken or the sites have been taken down. The modern internet's history of Gabriela strangely begins with her apparent breakdown in front of a Monterey hotel. Some researchers believe that any history Gabriela may have had before the famous incident was wiped clean off the internet. Since the event at the Fiesta Inn, many have analyzed the meanings behind what Gabriela was saying and have tried to provide context. Some believe that she had escaped from some sort of human trafficking situation or that she was being held prisoner. As a supermodel, Gabriela may have well moved in elite Mexican social circles, and her life may have been intersected with the lives of the most powerful and notorious in Mexico and beyond. She made some disturbing allegations and seems to have hit on many points that conspiracy theory investigators and fringe researchers like to get into. The British royal family, Disney, with her reference to Mickey Mouse, and cannibalism practiced by the elites. Of special note was Gabriela's references to powerful Mexicans. She affirms Carlos Slims knew about this. At the time of this apparent breakdown, Carlos Slim was the richest man in the world. The uber wealthy always have stories flying around about them, alleging many different things. There's an internet rumor going around that Gabriela may have been close to one of Carlos Slim's son, and because she was close to him, she was privy to too much inside information, some of which may have been compromising to the Slim family and their business interests. Gabriela also mentioned the name Moreno in her public diatribe. Juan Camilo Moreno Torozo, if I'm saying that right, was a Mexican politician affiliated with the National Action Party, or PAN, and served as the Secretary of the Interior in the cabinet of President Felipe Calderón. He died in November 2008 when the small private plane he was traveling in crashed into rush hour traffic in Mexico City under very mysterious circumstances. There are 16 fatalities in this supposed accident. All 9 people on board the plane died along with 7 people on the ground. He was only 37 years old, and he was also leading a campaign against Mexico's powerful drug cartels, so that gives us a hint of what actually was going on. Now it says, a few days after local TV aired Gabriela's breakdown and after the incident took on a life of its own on the internet, investigators were curious about Gabriela's fate. What happened to her? We know for sure that she was taken away by the police. A few weeks after Gabriela's disappearance, a statement appeared on the internet from someone claiming to have seen the supermodel at the local police station. The man, who was a lawyer visiting a client at the time, had this to say, translated from Spanish. At that time, I was in the same place where the girl was taken after being arrested. I was doing my practice in that place. I have a law degree. I still remember her face full of despair, fear, anguish. Being in front of her, I felt from her a very heavy and strange feeling. I approached her and asked her some questions, if she knew where she lived, etc. She told me that we were all already dead, that we all were, that we belonged to them, among other very strange things. That's odd how she said, we all are already dead. That simply left me paralyzed. After 20 minutes of being with her, some tall, well-dressed guys arrived. They practically forced me out of there. I asked why they were doing all this, if she was just a poor girl with a mental disorder. I asked, where were they taking her? They told me that it was none of my business, that it was for my own good to leave her. When I walked away, they stopped me and asked me what she had told me. I only replied crazy things and ran away. The next day, I went to high officials of the ministry and told them about the subject, that I wanted information because the girl's family requested it. They just laughed and said, really? She doesn't exist. She never existed. And you don't work here. I got to chill and left. I left everything and I left Monterey. I had a feeling that what happened those days and what that girl said were true. As I was able, I left everything and got out of there. She told me that in Monterey there's a kind of underground base where they live and regularly steal children for food and other things. Due to my profession, I do not dare to reveal my encounter. I have family and children who depend on me, and for logical and reputational reasons I can't. I like to go out and spread it to the four winds, but society would label me crazy, even though I have the marks of the attack. My back is still a bit sore. There are nights when I just can't sleep. I have that same feeling when I saw them the first time. It's like a premonition. I appreciate that you don't judge me crazy for telling you that. Only I and those who were with me at that time know what happened. What really happened to Gabriela after being detained by police? There's a reference to her being taken to a psychiatric hospital in Colonia, Buenos Aires. This is where the story takes a twist, at least to the English-speaking bloggers and researchers. The mention of the words Buenos Aires has led some people to believe that Gabriela was taken to some sort of MK Ultra or Illuminati facility in Argentina where she was disappeared. That branch of the story has grown into something with multiple rabbit holes. The only problem with this is that the English language researchers were unfamiliar with the word colonia, used in a Mexican context. It refers to a neighborhood or district of a city. In Monterey, there's a neighborhood called Buenos Aires, and there is a mental hospital there. Another online researcher found a woman named Gabriela Rico Jimenez at a hospital in Ciudad Juarez, but the photo of the woman in Juarez was not that of supermodel in question. Yet another online theory claims that Gabriela was taken across the U.S. border to Arizona and was shot on the property of a cement factory owned by Mexican billionaire Carlos Slim, who Gabriela mentioned in her rant. There are many other theories about Gabriela's whereabouts that have since disappeared from the internet. Then it goes on to say everything about this case is bizarre, and it definitely makes little of any sense. Was she merely an intoxicated or mentally ill individual with no history? Did she finally break free from her elite masters who were controlling her? Was this a woman, a delusional conspiracy theorist who cracked under the weight of her research? Was Gabriela the victim of some sort of secret mind control experiment? Did this young supermodel know and see too much? And we may never know the real truth about Gabriela Jimenez. And we may never know if any of this stuff is actually legitimate. All we really can go off when it comes to this case is a video that seems to be very authentic, as in her telling her truth. Obviously, the video is real. And I don't think there's anyone who would question actually believing what she's saying. Like, that was a woman who was scared to death, who you can tell just came from a world that, is like outside of what we live every day. She gave off the energy like, I just popped out of what I've been in. I've been trapped. I've been held captive, mind control, so on and so on. It's like only thing she has to do is just tell the truth of what was going on, what she was experiencing. That wasn't like the energy of someone who's been living every single day, going to get something to eat, chilling with their friends, and then one day they just have a breakdown. That was like the energy of, I just came from hell and I'm trying to tell everyone about it. They're probably about to snatch me back up. Y'all may never see me again. Now, we know it could be some very wild things going on in Mexico, especially when you're dealing with billionaires. If you're in that circle, and supposedly she was a supermodel, although we have no proof today in 2024. But what she was talking about, and the fact that her shirt read yum yum, and she was talking about them eating humans, smelling like human flesh, kidnapping little ones and using them for food. It almost sounds like, I don't even know, almost sound like, I don't know. I don't know what that sounds like. But that's symbolism right there. To have that shirt on that says yum yum. So it's like maybe she slipped out of the hands of her handlers or people that were, had her under control or whatever we want to call it. And this was just the only thing she could do. And it just happened to go viral and still to this day is reaching people. And then the other thing that's really odd, I'm not going to lie, if they deleted everything about her being a supermodel, how come that footage still lasted on the internet? That's the only thing I question about this whole story. Now, no one supposedly has ever seen her again, heard from her or anything. But if they deleted her history of being a model, how come they didn't delete the footage of her exposing what she saw? Now, what she said only linked back to Carlos Slim. Obviously, a guy that's a billionaire who was once the richest man in the world. Nothing like that is going to get him in trouble of anything. You have no proof he was involved in anything. And we already know, maybe they just decided to let the footage stay because it doesn't really matter. It doesn't lead back to anyone. All it does is have people chasing their tails, which a lot of stuff that has no definitive proof or answer, this is what it does. Makes people talk. Now you're searching and looking and wondering, and you're never really going to find out the truth. But I definitely find that odd about how the footage is still on the internet. Because what she was saying is definitely believable. And I don't think, for once in my mind, it wasn't true. So y'all, without making this video too long, that was the story of Gabriela Rico Jimenez. A very strange a mysterious case that I don't think will ever be solved. There's a good chance that that woman may not be alive today. This is over a decade ago. And yeah, man, y'all let me know what y'all think about that video. Thought it was pretty interesting to bring to the channel. Would be very cool to do more videos like this that, you know, are like mysterious disappearances and, you know, not always on the same thing that we do on this channel all the time. So any more requests y'all got from me, I'll be sure to look into it. And with that being said, it's Black Balloon, and I'm gonna see y'all soon.